If you are planning to apply to any universities in UK, there are few basic but mandatory documents they require from your end. First is your college mark sheet, your college degree certificate, class 12 mark sheet, any certificates that you received from internships. If you are working, they will ask you for the offer letter. They will also provide a space where you can upload a certificate of your choice which you think will help them to consider you as a potential candidate. Apart from that, they will require your IELTS score, your LOR and SOP. So when you are applying, you have to be ready with your IELTS score, but in case you are not, they will provide you with a conditional offer letter, and only after you provide your IELTS score, they will change the conditional offer to an unconditional one. But for LOR and SOP, you have to submit it while making an application. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to make an LOR, what are the guidelines for it, and also how to make the SOP, which is the most important document while applying for any colleges. All the universities in UK require 2 LORs during your application process. So one letter of recommendation must be from your academics and the second one from your employer. So in case you are still a student, get both of them from your academics. Now you have to submit these PDF formats of the LOR during application, but there are some colleges which does not require the PDF formats from you, but the contact details of the recommender with whom they will directly contact. So in my case, there was one college which took the contact details and contacted my recommender within 2 days via email. So in the email body, they will share a link of a portal, and there the recommender has to go and fill in the recommendation. Now, why is this letter of recommendation important? Because the colleges consider these letter of recommendations while giving you any scholarship or when you apply for one. So it's very important to get it written by someone who knows your ability and skills the best. And keep in mind that the designation or the hierarchy does not matter in case of the recommender. Also, explain your goals to study in UK and what are your future dreams to the recommenders so that they can help draft a proper and suitable LOR for your benefit. Now, what are the formats or guidelines in making LOR? So there is no specific guidelines except for 2 factors, which is it must be on an official letterhead and it must not be more than 1 page. Because we all know that the admission cells of all universities are loaded with application, and if your letter of recommendation is too long, then they might not even read it. So make it crisp and informative within 1 page. And there are few points which all LORs must contain. It should have that for how long the recommender knows you, what are the projects you did under him, and why does the recommender feels that you are well suited for the course. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind that the universities will not accept your LOR if it's from your family member or a friend who holds a respectable position in professional or academic field. So having a good LOR is very important for your application, but you can budget a time of 2 weeks within which you must try to get the LORs either from your academic heads or your employer. The statement of purpose is the only piece of written work you submit to the universities. So make sure you convey a good work of your competence. And the SOP is the most important document in your entire application process. Any small mistake in it and the entire application will be rejected. Now, some of the mistakes which we make in the SOPs are getting the college name wrong or getting the course name wrong, getting the location of the campus wrong, or maybe putting some irrelevant points. Now, it might sound very silly to get the college or course name wrong, but trust me, it happens. Because when you have to write a long essay of 800 to 1000 words for 5 to 6 different colleges, it becomes a challenge due to the fatigue it creates, and thus enabling us to make such silly mistakes. Now I'm going to share some do's and don'ts of writing the statement of purpose, which I followed while writing mine. It must tell a story about yourself and why you chose to study this course. Now, it should not convey a message that from my childhood I wanted to be a mathematician, or from my childhood I wanted to be a data scientist, because no child wants to be a data scientist from the time he started school. It should be your complete original work and you must not copy it from anywhere. Now, all the SOPs must include few important points. That is, why you wanted to pursue the course, why do you think you are eligible for the course, why do you want to go to that particular university, for which you can do a little bit of research in their website and try to find out that what particular things they provide which other universities don't, and put it in the SOP. Research the faculties and get to know the course structure so that you can put it in the SOP about why you want to go for that particular university. Next, it must have that why do you want to study in UK, how is it relevant to your earlier degree or qualification, how can you relate your extracurricular activities to your academics. You must also justify educational gap if you have any. So what I would suggest is, first write a draft of a SOP by yourself, leave it, take a break of few hours or maybe a day, come back to the statement of purpose and try to correct few things, add few points and try to make it better. If required, you can get it read by some of your professors or friends for more guidance. Next is some don'ts that you need to follow and must not do while writing the statement of purpose. Do not copy the SOP from any website or any friend, because all the SOPs are run through a similarity detection test, and if the colleges find out that you have copied the SOP from some other source, they are going to directly reject your application. The next is, do not use hard words, the meaning of which you do not know, or do not use fancy words which does not sit on the SOP, because if they take any interview, they are going to ask you about that and it will be a problem if you still do not know the meaning. Next is, do not use any quotes of any famous people, because the SOP is completely about you and it tells the story of why you want to do the course in any particular college. The next is, do not flatter the university too much, and by that I mean, do not write in the SOP that it's the best university and from my childhood I wanted to go there, because clearly the university is not the best in the world. So if you flatter it too much, it will understand you and they will reject the application. So the SOP must tell a story about you and what are the future goals you have in your mind, how do you want to see your career in the future, and why do you want to go to a particular country or a particular college to continue your studies. So make the SOP in such a way that when someone sitting in an admission office in a separate country while reading the SOP can visualize you as a candidate. So I would recommend that make the first paragraph very crisp and clear and get the attention in that first paragraph only. So spend a lot of time, reread the first and last paragraph and try to make it as perfect as possible. So this was all about the SOP and the importance of it. Next is the IELTS exam. So the IELTS exam is an English exam which tests your reading skills, writing skills, your speaking and listening skills. So they mark you in a band of 8 and a score of 7.5 is good enough to get into any colleges in UK. However, there are some colleges will also admit you in band of 5.5. There is no passing or fail marks in IELTS band score. The colleges will mention the band score which they require the candidates to achieve in their website, and the students have to score that band score to be eligible to apply to the colleges. So this IELTS score is a deciding factor to get a conditional or unconditional offer letter. So I gave my IELTS twice. Once I scored 7.5 and the other time 7. So from my experience, I can tell you that practicing is the main mantra of achieving good score in IELTS. The exam is not hard, but it requires a lot of practice. So these practice documents are widely available online. So you can buy test books from Amazon or Flipkart, but there are some free listening and speaking tests available on YouTube or in the Google. So based on my experience, I'll be doing separate videos on reading, writing, speaking and listening tests in IELTS, where I'll elaborate more on how to prepare and what are the do's and don'ts while preparing. So that's all for today's video, where we discussed about the requirements of any UK colleges. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section or contact me in the links given below. So thank you for watching the video. Click the like button if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you think that the information are relevant, and share with people who really need the information.